From Anshe Sfar Beth El Emeth Congregation, it's time to take 10 Minutes for Torah with Rabbi Joel Finkelstein.
Welcome to our discussion of Parshat Yitro, 7 takes on eagle's wings. The Parsha says in the prologue before the Ten Commandments, Hashem says to the Jewish people, Atem ritem asher asiti l'Mitzrayim. You have seen that which I have done to the Egyptians. Va'asadchem al kanfei nisharim va'avietchem elai. I lifted you on eagle's wings and I brought you to me. What does it mean on eagle's wings? Obviously, it's a metaphor. What is the metaphor? What does it mean? Why an eagle? Why not a duck or a chicken? And what does it mean, I brought you to me? What does that mean that God brought you to me? 7 takes. Take number 1. Rashi says that he claims, based on the Midrash, that the eagles carry their young over their wings. In case there are any arrows that come from below, they're protected above. That's Rashi. Whether that's actually true about eagles, it's interesting to look into that. Rashbam says that when the Jews were carried through the water, it was as if we were like eagles, like birds. We could fly over the water. Like we do today in an airplane, you can fly over the water. He flew you through the water, you didn't get wet. It's as if you were on eagle's wings. It's the splitting of the sea is really what the parable's referring to. Sforno, from Italy, he says, I lifted you higher than anyone else, a place where no one else can go. You see, the eagle soared to heights that no one else can go. And I brought you to a place where no one could touch you either, because I wanted you to be an Am Segula. I wanted you to be Kedoshim. I wanted you to be, as it says in this Parsha, Mamlech Goanim V'Goy Kadosh, a holy nation. And the holy nation needs to be separate. Eagle's wings, the image is the image of Jews being separate and apart in order to maintain their holy values. The Ktav Kabbalah, a German rabbi from the 19th century, he says, a Nesher goes pretty high. I went above the level where the eagles fly. I took you above that. I'm taking you to a higher place than even those folks. In the Mechilta, in the Midrash, there's another opinion that Rashi didn't quote, and that is that they came quickly. That they were able to get around quickly. They came to Ramses right away in one day. The Jews were traveled very quickly, as if they were on eagle's wings, as if they were on some sort of an airplane, some sort of a transportation that was very fast. Rabbeinu Bachye says that it's the clouds. I took you on eagle's wings, but there's no eagles, no wings. What are you talking about? The closest thing to that you can think of is the way God transported us using the clouds, that he protected us with the clouds wherever we went, especially as the Egyptians were shooting at us. We had the clouds to protect and absorb those slings and arrows. So those are the 7 takes: Rashi, Rashbam, Sforno, the Ktav Kabbalah, the Mechilta, and Rabbeinu Bachye. But what does it mean, Va'avietchem elai, I brought you to me? What do you mean, to me? Where did God bring us? So the simple meaning would be, Ibn Ezra, he says, to Sinai. I brought you to Mount Sinai. That's where I am. Yeah, but you didn't get there yet. They just got there. The Malbim says, now you're under my authority. Under our hashgacha, the divine providence we have is not with the constellations, the horoscopes. As Jews, our future is purely in God's hands. But the Ktav Kabbalah, again, Rabbi Michelberg, he says, Ein lecha adon ela ani. Starting Mount Sinai, starting the Exodus, we no longer have anyone else that is in charge of us, only God. That's why it's so important for Jews to have their own country, because we don't want to be subservient to anyone's ideology, anyone else's thinking. We want to have our own way of thinking, because every country sort of promotes certain values and certain ideas and ideals. We want to be free from that. I brought you to a place where you can just have my authority, the authority of God, no one else. But ultimately, this is meant to be a loving expression. It's an expression, al kanfei nisharim. It somehow expresses the love as Rashi tries to convey the love of the mother bird for its children, it tries to protect them. It's a great expression of love. And that's later on. The next verse says, Am Segula, we are a treasured nation. What does that mean? Without saying it in so many words, perhaps because it's a little bit indelicate to refer to God loving us and us loving God, although it says it elsewhere in the Torah. But here, the Torah chooses to use other language and other metaphors. And therefore, really what we have here is a discussion of the love of God and the Jewish people, the love of choosing us and taking us out of Egypt, the love of giving us the 10 Commandments, all the commandments. Lo asachin l'chol, we say every morning, God didn't do that for any other nation. He didn't tell them the laws. He didn't tell them what's right, what's wrong. He punished them and did the wrong thing. You get punished. But he didn't tell anybody what are the laws. God did us a favor and he gave us the 10 Commandments. He gave us the whole Torah, the 613 Commandments, to tell us what's right, what's wrong. That itself, an act of love. And that's what this metaphor is all about. V'aviechem elai, I brought you close to me. Our goal is to be close with God. Thank you for joining us here at the Anshe Sfar Beth Lehem congregation for a discussion of this parsha and other parshiot. And thanks to Jason Lefkowitz, our producer. Thank you.
This has been 10 Minutes for Torah with Rabbi Joel Finkelstein. To learn more, visit asb.org.